Patreon Q&A number 83. I want to thank all 126 of my incredible patrons. I still hope everyone's staying safe out there, guys. And to everyone else listening, there's going to be spoilers in these questions and answers, so tread carefully. Steven asks, Pungy Lele, dude. What if the Neo Heroes don't use the disaster level system and one has had them introduce a power system that's like formal, like the categorizations for hurricanes or earthquakes? Have a good week, dude. Hey, you too, Steven. This is an excellent question, and I was thinking about this myself. I was like, okay, so we got the Neo Heroes counter to the Hero Association. They have their own S-Class heroes. They're calling them Neo Leaders. They have a whole new infrastructure, a whole new system to hero activities and stuff like that. But what about the disaster levels? What are they going to do with them? Because the disaster levels are a creation of the Hero Association, so I doubt the Neo Heroes would use them, right? Therefore, they're probably going to develop their own system. And I think we're going to get this reveal soon. Like in the next 2 chapters, I think we might hear about new disaster levels, at least according to the Neo Heroes. Now, how one goes about this, he needs to be careful. Because if he releases a whole new system that contradicts the existing disaster level system, then it's going to confuse things, not just for the readers, but just everything in general. So if he can make like an analog, instead of just like a completely revamped version, just like an analog to the current disaster levels that gives them more nuance, something that has been escaping them, because of how we developed the whole low, mid, high stuff. Maybe if the Neo Heroes would somehow orchestrate a more elaborate system that isn't just so blanketed by the terms of, 4 individual rankings or 5 technically, I think that would be awesome. Like, they're obviously not going to say wolf through dragon or god, but maybe if they just say something else, or if they say like, okay, this individual threat is so powerful that we need 2 Neo leaders and then 3 candidates or 3 regular Neo heroes to go after or something. But then this dragon is so powerful that it only needs 2 Neo leaders or 1 Neo leader or something like that. I just want disambiguation to the exact strength. I think that would strengthen the actual series and the power scale within it, which already has a pretty powerful system. But yeah, I do think for sure we are going to get new disaster levels or just power level systems. At least I certainly hope we do. Acoustic asks, hey man, do you think Child Emperor's power scale device would have worked on Genos since he is a cyborg? So actually in that chapter, Child Emperor does use the Okami mask on Genos, and it just does nothing, and he chalks it up to Genos being a cyborg. So yeah, I mean, I guess that answers the question. It wouldn't work on Genos, and it wouldn't probably work on any other cyborgs that allegedly may or may not exist in the world at this point. But I assume Genos would definitely be, above 6,000, like on that, or 7,000, whatever the demon level S-Class scale was. But as for Boros, yeah, he would definitely be too powerful for the Okami mask since it caps out at 10,000. And Boros' power would, we can only really take a guess, but I will just say it'd be way above 10,000. Big Slapper asks, is Saitama actually dumb, or is it more or less his overwhelming boredom and lack of motivation that people get confused with him being stupid? So I don't think Saitama's dumb. I mean, he's not like hyper intelligent by any means, but far from dumb or stupid. People do think that he's stupid because that's just, the comedic direction that the series goes in. And he's, the way that he's like socially awkward and stuff like that gets him into situations with people thinking that he is stupid. But he's very perceptive, and when he needs to be, he can be, very serious. But that is like really the one thing that he's lacking is seriousness. Like I said, he's a little naive. And then also Black S touches on this. In chapter 120, chapter 124, the webcomic that just came out, he says that, he allowed my mask to get away. So there's a chance to take advantage of Saitama's openings after all. He says that he's strong, but he lacks seriousness. So a monster with enough cunning can escape Saitama. And I think that's giving us insight into the psyche of Saitama and probably a future storyline that's going to happen where we'll see Saitama's weakness is not being overpowered, but like outwitted or something like that. Flashy Flash asks, question 1, top 10 strongest heroes in My Hero Academia, excluding All Might, Endeavor, and Hawk. So here you go, Flashy Flash. I'm just going off of known feats. As you'll see, there's like a few of the Billboard heroes that are removed from this list because they just have no feats yet. So I'm not just going to say, well, this guy is probably stronger than the other one because we just don't know. But I think this list is more or less kind of accurate. I put Aizawa at number 10 because one-on-one, he's like nearly unbeatable. Question 2, Flashy Flash versus Monster My Mask. Who wins? So I'm going to say probably Flashy Flash here, but it wouldn't be easy. He's definitely faster than Monster My Mask, but I don't think he's as physically imposing as him. I mean, his level of power is ridiculous, as we have seen. Unclear what his durability is like. Could he tank a slash from Flashy Flash? Maybe, maybe not. But if I were to bet, I'd definitely put it on Flashy Flash due to speed being the main factor here. And my mask probably not having enough answers for it. General Knox fan asks, yo, I finally updated my Patreon and I'm back with a few questions for you. Hey, thank you, General Knox fan. I appreciate that. I think that a My Mask monster form must be insanely strong, even for dragon level standards. Where does he stack up against the other monsters such as Fear Ugly, Carnage Kabuto, Phoenix Man? Basically, what I ask if he would be in the top 10 strongest monsters. So yes, absolutely, full-blown monster My Mask is probably one of the strongest, 10 strongest monsters in the series. Like once I do remake the list later this year, he'll probably be number 10 or number 9, taking a guess. He'll fall around there somewhere because he has better feats than Carnage Kabuto and better feats than Fear Ugly and Phoenix Man. Because, he actually has some of the best feats we've seen so far because he soloed what could be a high dragon in the peak power of the Pesky Clown, which Carnage Kabuto, he could not defeat. Darkshine, Fear Ugly, he never really got his chance to shine, but he was one-shotted by Abandonment Bang. And then Phoenix Man, we all know what happened with him. So I'm thinking that My Mask's definitely stronger than them. Geruda asks, hey, Shonen, how powerful do you think Sensui would be if he were to drop into the One Punch Man universe? So base Sensui, he's like probably a demon, somewhere around there. But like at the peak of his power, when he starts using the Sacred Energy, he's easily dragon, maybe even above dragon. The power that he was showing against Yusuke, like once they got into Demon World and they started fighting, they basically had a Dragon Ball Z fight. Seriously, it was basically a Dragon Ball Z fight. Go watch it for yourself. They're like flying around, doing the speed clashing where you can only see like lines and movements and stuff like that. And Yusuke himself is a crazy beast at that point in the series. Like he's blowing up mountains with one of his spirit guns. Like, yeah, Sensui, Sacred Energy with like the armor, all that crazy stuff. He's maybe high dragon, maybe above dragon, possibly. Kappa Megistus asks, would you eat monster cells? No, because first of all, I don't want to be a monster. I don't even want to naturally become a monster. I just would prefer to stay human. The most I would go into monster territory is like maybe being a half monster, possibly like Blade. But yeah, eating monster cells, well, first of all, completely disfigures you, makes you hideous most of the time, and then it makes you as powerful as you can become in theory, and then you have like a cap on you, I guess, and you can no longer become any stronger, and that kind of sucks. So yeah, I don't want to eat monster cells. I don't want to become a monster at all. I'd rather just train the old-fashioned way. L asks, EI, the path of swords does not end for you yet. Stop bleeding. Sonen quotes it in perfect Japanese. Hey, if I could, I would. Could this possibly be the greatest quote in One Punch Man? Dare I say top 5 of all anime? Man, I don't know about that. I don't think I'm qualified to say what the top 5 of anything in all of anime is, but I do like this quote, and coincidentally enough, I saw this recently when I was watching the, what is this happening, episode 10 or something of season 1, like after Melzergaard takes the Iron's arm, and I was like, yeah, this is a great moment. Definitely gives us more insight into Atomic Samurai because he is like an a-hole type of character, but he does care. He is a hero after all. He does have disciples and everything. He's just really staunch and unruly. But it also shows you like, his type of training style, how he reacts to things like that. And just, I guess how heroes in general react to things like that. Not all of them, of course. One of the best in One Punch Man, definitely. Top 5 of all anime, I can't say. Legandaryus asks, hey Shonen, I just thought of a cool character to put into One Punch Man. His personality would be similar to Victor Reznov from Call of Duty, and his ability would be able to create creatures to fight for him in battle. What rank would you give him, and would he be popular like Reznov is in the Call of Duty community? So I'm not familiar with this character, but I did look him up, and I saw that he was originally in World at War, a game that I did play, and then his legend kind of lives on through the Black Ops series, I guess, after that, because they're all made by Treyarch? I don't remember. I know that there's like 2 different, there's like Infinity Ward, and then there's like the one that make the Black Ops. So I guess he's like a Treyarch or whatever the other Call of Duty makers are, canon. So that's cool. If he could make creatures to fight for him, I guess that would kind of be like Dr. Genus, but it's like, how strong would the creatures be? That really ultimately goes into his disaster level, because if he can like only make tigers, then he's just going to be a tiger himself. So if he could produce demons, and like a lot of demons, then maybe he'd be a dragon, possibly. I'd actually like to see this ability more so in My Hero, you know, like the ability to make other creatures fight for you. We have seen kind of quirks like that so far, but I'd more so like to see it from like somebody like this. MemePriest asks, yo, Shonen, what's poppin', handsome boy? I hope your gains are swole. Anyway, here are my questions for the week. What fighting style would be closest to the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist? So, I mean, I also think it says it on the wiki, but I've always thought that it was kind of like Tai Chi, at least from the defensive aspect of it. Because, you know, like the mannerisms and the movements and just the fundamentals of it are basically just like Tai Chi, and I'm sure that's where one got its inspiration from. But also it has an offensive aspect to it, and the offensive aspect kind of looks like Jeet Kune Do, you know, like Bruce Lee's martial art, which derived from Wing Chun, I think. So it's kind of like a fusion of those two. Could Mosquito Girl defeat Rhino Wrestler, or at least get an 80 on the scale? I think that she could definitely get an 80 on the scale, but her defeating him is hard to say. I think once she goes into like her blood form, then she could probably defeat him and get it 100 on the scale. But in her base form, it would be really competitive. Proasek asks, "Hey up, Shonen, and thank you Patreon for updating my username at last." Ah, well. Question this week: have you read/watched That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime? If not, it's another series that does overpowered protagonists quite well. So I have not seen this series, but I remember last year when the series debuted, I think, or maybe it was late 2018, and then it followed its season into early 2019. I remember it was getting a lot of attention. I was checking it out then. I was getting questions about it too, but not really into isekais. Not saying they're bad, just not a fan of them. But I could always check this series out for sure, especially if it has an overpowered protagonist that's done well. And I have seen the trailer for this, and I actually saw the trailer for season 2 that's coming out in the fall. And I'm happy to hear that, this anime is going to continue for all the fans out there. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Once again, I want to thank all 128 of my amazing, incredible patrons. Guys, I can't thank you enough for all the support, and I hope everyone's staying safe out there. If you would like to be in next week's Q&A, just simply check out the Patreon. The $5 tier will give you access to this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.